So today's reading, I'm going to deal with a big thing that is going on with Trump right now is Mary Trump's book. Let me get, it's a long title, okay? Let's see. Too Much and Never Enough, How My Family Created the Most Dangerous Man. So yeah, this book, they are, it's his brother actually, who is the one who is fighting it right now. Now what they did, okay, let's go back. Okay, so in 2001, there was a settlement with the family. She signed a non-disclosure agreement, and now she wants to do her tell-all book. But what they're trying to do with Trump's younger brother is try to put restraining orders on the publisher and her because of this non-disclosure. What they are doing is they have lifted it off the publisher. That was this week, excuse me. It was this week. They lifted off the restraining order so they can start publishing, but there's still one more to go, and that's on her. Okay, and that's what they're going to work on next week, on the 10th specifically in court, is to see if they can lift it off her. She's trying to do, her and her team, is say the non-disclosure that she signed was fraudulent. Now, obviously, also another big thing in this country is freedom of speech. So I will tell you, with already it being lifted off the publisher, let's see if that book is going to get published. That's what today's read is going to deal with. So we do have the settlement in the past position. I've got the Ten of Pentacles. We had the settlement and everything else. Now, I do have in the past position the Chariot reverse. So especially like to be able to go forward freely and so forth. We signed this non-disclosure. So it kept her hands tied for a while. But for whatever reason, she felt that she really wanted to get this out. And I kind of see her like the black sheep of the family when I tune in. That's kind of how I feel. She's kind of the black sheep. But she's a smart lady. She shows as the Queen of Swords, obviously knows how to write. She's also, I believe, a clinical psychologist and so forth. So there's going to be a little bit of that in this book. I have a little bit of psychoanalyst. But a couple things do look promising here to get it published. The very first card is the Six of Swords. Now, it is a traveling card, but it's especially about moving forward. Like, here are some kind of miserable times that I had, and I'm going to go ahead and leave that all behind, and I'm going to go forward. And another one at the foundation is Eight of Cups, which is a little bit similar, but it's especially that I emotionally invested myself. Let's say for these purposes, I emotionally invested myself into this family. I put my whole heart into it. I did everything I could. And, I look at the family and everything, and they just robbed me energetically of everything I had. And she has a conscience. She has a conscience. But this is about especially going forward. I detach, cut losses. I'm going to walk away from this. So I really feel she has, in her heart, walked away from this family. But she's also going forward. And she is going into, I want you to kind of look at the full moon. Notice the little bits of clouds. But the moon, while it can obscure and so forth, it is very bright, this moon. So I feel this revelation coming. We're going to kind of blow these dark clouds out of the way and start revealing some deeper subconscious forces because, she's a clinical psychologist. She's going to deal with some very deep dynamics within the family. And this is what they really want to, put a lid on. Now, also, I've got the Five of Pentacles. You saw me kind of describe this in the Bounty one, but it's especially to feel left out in the cold and so forth. So this is kind of how she makes me feel for herself, that her family, I feel even prior to this, kind of left her out in the cold and left her out of things. And I feel there were probably times she spoke up, and this is another reason why they really tried to cut her off in various ways, and abandon her. But there might be a little something here with some finances. She's not a perfect saint here. I do feel she may have felt she was burned financially with some of this little bit of a settlement here. So it's, I know she needs to do this to deal with her deeper emotions and those forces that have been affecting her for a long time. But there is still a little bit there that she kind of feels burned financially, okay? There's a little something there with that. So there's a little bit of a little bit of revenge there. Okay, I mean the whole family is kind of nuts. The whole family is kind of nuts. There's a little bit there. But let's talk about that non-disclosure. This is an agreement that they made. And remember, if you've seen me talk about the Three of Pentacles, usually it's some kind of a handshake agreement. We made a deal. We have, they can be for business partnerships and so forth. But there was some kind of deal made. They agreed on it. But it's in a reverse position. Ooh. And this is coming up in the immediate future, which really is next week. So I have a feeling they're going to take apart this non-disclosure here, okay? And they're going to untie her hands. Because why is it reversed? Like if it was upright, I would kind of say, yeah, we're probably going to keep it steady. But that's normally some kind of tearing up some kind of an agreement and separation. So I have a feeling they're going to set her free from it. I've got the Strength card in the reverse position, so I feel like the family has really tried to strong arm her into not getting this book going, but they're going to be weakened by, especially that freedom of speech, and proving that is going to be fraud. I'm not sure exactly the dynamic why. I obviously haven't read it or anything, but I have a feeling, looking at this, that they're going to be able to say, yeah, this does not hold water, and she could go ahead and get that book going. Now, when I see the Page of Swords in a reverse position, news will come out, but it's normally some kind of bad news. And I really kind of feel, this is bad news for the family, that because right below it is this. So I feel they're going to take apart this non-disclosure, and they're going to free your hands. So this is going to be bad news on their end. Now, in her position is the Two of Cups in the reverse position. Now, I feel this is more the relationship with her and Trump in itself. I feel like they never quite had that good of a relationship. They never really did. I feel like they never quite saw eye to eye, and that's just the way I feel. So I feel like she probably hasn't talked to him in a very long time. That may kind of come up with that. He's really feeling kicked down. I've got the Five of Cups in the reverse position. That is especially to be mourning. He's been kicked down, brutally. We've got a pandemic. We've had protests. The things that people are saying on him in the media and everything. When no one's looking, this is the way he feels. When no one's looking, and it's just one thing after another. And notice the Two of Cups behind there, okay? It's like, here comes one more thing. And we've got that Two of Cups reversed here in her position, but that old past, you could say, as it's coming up behind him, with her, with the niece, is upon him. And it's like, oh, again. And normally it's like there's an upside in the Five of Cups, but it's in a reverse position. And then combined with the Two of Cups in a reverse position. So I feel it's not going to be an upside. Actually, there is more to come that is going to be difficult. What's the outcome card? I know y'all want to know. Death reverse. Okay, so this is especially why it is making me feel this. This is the big reason. Because what they want to do is they just want to shut that book down. Okay, they don't want it published at all. They just, no bad press. They, especially from family. They want to shut it down. They want to close this chapter and she can't do it. But it's in reverse position, which tells me they're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to close this chapter. They really want to close this chapter on this book, right? That's what we talk about. Death, was especially about closing a chapter and going forward. But it's not going to happen. It looks like it's going to be published. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be published, looking at everything the way it's going. Freedom of speech, it's real hard to stop something like that. And I really feel they're just, they're going to get it going. So look for that. I believe it's July 10th. I'm pretty sure that's what I read. that's when everything's going to go down. But especially with them lifting the no the restraining order off the publishers, that's one phase. Now we just need this one, and once this one is done, here comes that book. I hope you enjoyed my read.